search for this channel and you have the first session's recording here. You can certainly go through that. We have covered enough of details. We have covered the basics, and based on that, we'll just deep dive into next set of actions, and we'll just jump right into the tool, and we'll work on the tool itself today. Okay. So yes, if you have missed the first session, it is uploaded to our YouTube channel. Just go ahead and do that. I'll just put the link here on the chat box for others who want to go through this. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm just pasting the link here to everyone. I hope you are receiving it. Just bookmark this channel or subscribe to the channel and keep it, ready so that we post a lot of videos on this particular channel and you can get some good, nice insights. Okay, great. Let's move on. So last week on Friday, I told you how to go ahead and install the software. I hope you have installed it. So just go ahead and have, you know, uh, things installed from the Microsoft Store. So just go to Microsoft Store, search for Power BI Desktop, and you can just go ahead and install that. Okay, so that's what we have. Let's go ahead and open our Power BI Desktop environment. And let me first of all, go ahead and give you a tour of this particular environment. I'll show you what are all the different sections or possible areas in which we will go and work on, and we'll slowly get into the details of the data set and all of that. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Now this is your welcome screen. Whenever you start or open Power BI Desktop, this is going to be your welcome screen. And anything and everything that you do with this environment is going to be a blank or a report that you create. Okay, so you will be creating report in Power BI Desktop. There is a concept of dashboard as well in Power BI. We'll learn that when we go and publish this to our, Power BI service. Power BI service is nothing but a cloud-based environment. And when we go and publish our report to our cloud-based environment, that's when we have a concept called as dashboard. Okay, so that's a different thing altogether. So whatever you do inside the Power BI desktop environment, it's all called report. Okay, you'll understand this better as we progress. But any number of pages, any sort of visuals that you bring together, it may be on a single page or maybe it is on a different page. It's all called as a report. Okay. So yeah, just know that for now. It's all called as report whenever you work in Power BI Desktop. All right. So let me click that one. And these are all the different data sources that you can get started with. But we will go ahead and do that based on the data source that we will go ahead and work on. So yes, if you have any of your data sources, it's an one lake data hub, Excel file that you want to connect to, blah, blah, blah. You can go ahead and connect to these things, and it's up to you. You may just want to connect that and get started from there. But let's go ahead and open a blank report and go on from there. Okay. So I'll click on this, and this is going to be your interface that you'll go ahead and work on. So let's go ahead and focus on the important areas. You'll be working on this sections a lot, and I'll just give you a quick tour of this environment. That's what I said. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. Now, the most important section in this particular window is going to be this section, which is the data pane. And what happens is whenever you go load the data, and you would be using this get data button to get your data into Power BI. We'll go ahead and look into that today. So once you load the data, what happens is your tables and the respective columns will start coming up here. Okay, another table and the respective columns will come up here. Okay, so whenever you load some tables, columns and tables will be listed in this section, and that's how things are going to be. Now, data pane is going to be one of the mandatory panes to have, and it is going to be available forever. You can only minimize this. So if I just click on this one, you can only minimize this way. You can just shrink the pane, and you can't go ahead and, kind of remove or hide the pane itself. It is just about shrinking and expanding that particular section. That's what it is. So that's a mandatory pane, and you will have this pane forever whenever you work in Power BI. So that's going to be one of the panes that you'll see forever. Okay. And similarly, there is another pane called as visualization pane, and this is what you'll use to start building your report. So if you look at this section here, this page, all right. So we have something called as a kind of a canvas here. So what you'll do is you take these different visualizations, you put it here, and then you start building your reports. Okay. Or I would say rather you come up with a report, and that's how you go and work with this environment. All right. Now this view that you're looking at, and that's the icon that we are currently on. Okay. So this view, this canvas, and the way you're looking at this window here, this view is what is called as a report view. All right. So you're looking at a report view right now, and the report view will have your visualization pane, the data pane. Like I said, the data pane is going to be there no matter in which view you are. You will be working on that for sure. And then visualization pane is just here so that you can go and take those visuals, put it here, and then start building your report. Okay. Now, as I mentioned in the last session, visualization is the last thing that you want to worry about. Yes, you don't want to jump into the visualizations right away. You want to do this sometime later, and that's what I would go ahead and say. Let's not look at visualizations, or we'll not even jump into those different things in any time soon. We'll go and work on our data. There is a lot of things to do. Like I said, the data is not clean. You'll have to go and clean that. We'll work on some transformations. We'll go and do some data modeling, and then we'll go and work on the visualization itself. Okay, I hope I'm clear. That's what is going to be the focus, and that's how we will go and go forward with this. All right, great. So there are also certain panes that you can enable or disable. Now look at this one. There is a filters pane. We'll go and use this whenever the time is right. When we feel that, we have to go and use filters pane, we'll just go get introduced to that one. But if you go to the view menu on top, okay, you'll see that there is a section called as show panes. And this has a lot of panes. You can enable or disable them. Filters pane is already enabled for you. You can see that here. But if I just go and click on all of these panes one by one and enable them, you'll see that they will occupy a lot of space. And these are the different panes. We'll just go into them whenever the time is right. We'll go and work on them. And, I'll just go ahead and shrink them. I'll just go ahead and minimize them for now. But you'll see that this section itself is going to take a lot of space. Even though you have everything shrinked, you will have a little amount of space for you to go and work with and build your report. So we never go and, kind of enable and keep all the panes. Whenever the time is right, whenever we want to use those panes, we'll go and do that. Okay. So in this case, I'll just go and disable all of them, but these are some panes you will definitely use, but you don't use it often, and you don't have to have them enabled often. So just get rid of them. Just make yourself, comfortable and have your environment neat and clean so that you don't have to go and, kind of get confused or focus on the design first rather than the, the environment or the layout setup. All right, great. So these two are important panes. Data pane, you'll get to see all of the tables and columns getting listed here when you load some data. I'll go and do that, and I'll show you how this works. Visualization pane is going to help you to build your report. We'll just do that. Now let's go and focus on some of the other icons or environments that you'll go and work on a lot. So look at this icon here. Okay. So you have this. The first one, as I already mentioned, this is called as a report view. Yes or no? So this is what is called as a report view. And the second one is called as table view. Okay, when you hover on to your, these icons, it will just give you those names as well. So the second one is called as a table view. And the third one here is called as a model view. Now you'll be kind of toggling between these views, and you will go ahead and have a lot of things done in these three views. Okay. So the report view, as we saw, this is our report view, and you will be going ahead and building your report in this particular view. The table view is going to give you the tabular format of your data. So when you load a table, you can go to table view. It looks exactly like Excel, almost like Excel, and you can just kind of filter it out. You can do some validations. You can just look for some information. You can understand the number of records that you have loaded and all of that. So we'll just go ahead and look at that when we go ahead and load the table. Okay, as of now, it's all going to be blank, but let's go ahead and load the data and we'll see how this goes. Okay. And the third view is going to be model view. And this is where, when you go and load a lot of tables, you start modeling your data. And this is what is called data modeling. Or if you're connecting to a data warehouse, you'll be bringing in dimensions and facts. And that would be your dimension modeling here. Okay. So you would be doing a lot of that in this particular environment, and we'll see how to connect to these, how to connect these tables together, how to, and why to connect these tables together. All of that, we'll go and understand that when we go proceed with the details. Okay. Now, this last one, and I'm not going to talk about that icon. This last one is going to be called as DAX query view. Okay. Now, this is kind of a way too advanced environment. This has recently been integrated with Power BI. We never used to have a DAX based, environment here. And this is not the DAX that we will go and work on. Okay. So if you've seen the course curriculum, if you have gone through the course curriculum, and you will understand that it has DAX portions in it, right? So this is not the DAX that we will go through. This is going to be way too advanced ways of working. And you are actually writing queries, it's like querying your tables, you're understanding how your, your calculations, the measures and other things that you create is performing. So this is going to be way too advanced sections, and we are not covering this in our course. I want to be very clear with that. This is going to be completely different from what the DAX we have listed in our course curriculum. So this is not going to be part of our course. Okay, this is called as DAX queries, and we will only learn DAX functions, formulas, and other things which are going to be useful for you. And this one is just this one was separate tool altogether. And Power BI or Microsoft has just gone ahead and integrated that with your DAX environment here. And that's how things are working. Okay. We'll see if you really are interested. We'll go through that. I'm not saying no for that, but it's going to be way too advanced. And I don't want to, kind of push a lot of things onto you. So let's go ahead and ignore this part. Okay. So what you'll be doing is you'll be working mainly with the first three icons. These are the go-to icons and go-to views for you to go and work on. And you'll be talking with the first three a lot, and you'll not be working on this one a lot. Okay. So just let's go ahead and ignore that. And that has just been recently integrated. So yeah, you can explore that, but still it's going to be different and difficult for you if you're getting started just with Power BI. If you already have DAX query knowledge, then it's going to be easy. But yes, if you're new to Power BI, it's going to be different, and it's going to be a different advanced environment for you to work with. Okay. All right. So those are the different views. And like I said, we'll be toggling between the first three, and I'll show you once the data is all loaded. Okay. All right. So now that we have understood our Power BI environment, let's go ahead and talk about the data itself. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a file. Just hold on. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. So let me see if I can share a file here. All right. Okay. I'm just sending a file. Okay, great. Just, yeah, send it right now. Just see if we can open that. And I'm going to open that in my screen here. Just download and keep it. Look at my screen. Look at these details. I want you to understand a few things. We will go over a couple of definitions here, and then we will talk about how to load this data into Power BI. Okay. So you don't have to do anything when I'm just talking here. Just observe what I'm doing. I want you to go ahead and look at some things that I go through. There are going to be small dialog boxes coming up. There are going to be some options that I click, and all of a sudden, the environment will change. So I want your full focus here. You don't have to take no, I mean, you can take notes, but you don't have to do this parallelly on your screen, because you'll be missing out a lot of things. Okay. So yes, just download and keep that file. You can do that after the session is done. Take some time, and you can just go and practice that, after the session. But just have your complete focus on this session. The recordings are going to be available to you, so you can recreate whatever I'm doing. So yeah, that would be the suggestion here. Okay. If you want, I can give you some time later point in time, but let's go ahead and talk about that, whenever we want to go ahead and do that way. All right, great. Now, let's talk about this. I have got something called as a sample superstores data set in front of me. Okay, we will be using this a lot. We'll also connect to a lot of different data sources. That's just for your understanding purpose. I'll connect to a database. I'll connect to a, data on the web. I can connect to Google Drive, and all of that. But remember, whenever you're taking the data into Power BI, the first step alone differs and the rest of the step is all going to be the same. So if you know how to connect to your data set, that part alone is going to be different and rest of them is all going to be exactly the same. So that's the idea that I want you to have. So no matter what data source you get to have in your organization, in your project, don't worry about that. Okay. Your team members and your colleagues will be there to help you out with the first time connection. So once you establish a connection with that, once you know how to get to your data, that's going to be pretty easy. All right. But we will definitely go and look at a couple of ways in which you can connect to the details. And that's what I want you to go ahead and do. All right. Great. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Now, one of the things that I want you to do is I want you to always go ahead and understand your data. Okay. So I want you to do this as a first thing whenever you get into a project. If you're not understanding your data, then there is no way you can bring out insights from that. Okay. That's what I want you to please clearly understand. All right. So understanding your data, getting hold of your data, and being thorough with your data is very, very important. All right. I'm just telling you from my experience. I'm telling you this from my, ways of working. And you have to have a thorough knowledge in this data set. If you don't have it, then there is no way you'll be able to derive or bring out those insights. Okay. So very important. Please try to go ahead and, get hold of your data, get yourself, a good, nice understanding of your data. All right. So we'll do that and we'll see how to go ahead and make use of that thing. And the idea is just to go ahead and understand your data no matter what. Okay. So please do that. Without that, there is no way you can go and work on this particular environment or take this particular information forward and build those reports. Okay. So very important. I'm just stressing on this because I have seen people struggle if you're not having an idea about the data set, if you're not having any idea about what you're going to work on, there is no way you're going to bring those details out. Okay, just a kind of an point that you want to go and look at. Okay, now this is an Excel file, and in this Excel file we have an order sheet, we have a return sheet, we'll have a people sheet, and this is what we will go and take it forward into Power BI and we'll see how this works. Okay. So that's what we have. So let's go ahead and talk about the data itself. All right. So like I said, it is important for you to go ahead and work with your data and understand your data. All right. So let's talk about this. Now, I would like to go ahead and compare this with, something that we already know. So we have a sample superstore data set. This is just a sample data given to you, and it is pretty much like sales data. So if I just scroll towards the right-hand side here, you'll see a lot of products that this store is selling. Okay. And then you'll see that the four major metrics or main metrics that we have here is all about sales, quantity, discount, and profit. Okay. So this is a good, nice data set with which you can do amazing things. Every scenario can be brought out. It's a rich data set, I would say, but still, you want to understand this data set and you want to take it forward properly and then go ahead and do that. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do here is whenever I want to understand my data set, what I usually do is I go ahead and compare this with any business that I know. And you don't have to know the business from the business standpoint, okay, from the organization itself. I want you to look at it from a customer standpoint. If you can understand the business from a customer standpoint, that's more than enough. Okay, what do I mean? Let's go ahead and deep dive into that. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you. I'll go ahead and have this. Oops, give me a minute. So I'll go ahead and have, just give me a minute. Something is going wrong with my keyboard. Okay. Okay. So what I usually do is I go and compare this with a business that I already know. And like I said, I don't have to be, an expert, or I don't have to know the nitty gritty of this business from the business perspective itself. Let's go and look at it from a customer standpoint. That's what we will do. Okay. Now have a look. So what we will do is we'll understand this data set from that perspective. And I'm going to compare this data set with Amazon's data set. I've been giving you this example a lot in my first session, and I'm going to use that a lot now and then. So let's go and talk about that and understand how this works. Okay. Now, you should have already gone ahead and, kind of use such e-commerce websites like Amazon, e-commerce, and all of that. And as a customer, what you should have done is you should have gone into this particular site or apps, and you would have gone ahead and selected a product. You have purchased that product. So what happens is you select one product, you add it to the cart, you check it out, it gets delivered to you in some time, based on the shipping modes and other things. And that's what happens, right? So from a customer standpoint, you clearly understand how this business works. And that's fine. That's the knowledge that I want you to have. You don't have to have anything else. Okay. I'll give you one more example. I was just looking at a shipping domains data. Okay. This is more like a shipping domains data. And then we have something like containers being moved from one place to another. Now, you don't have to get into the nitty gritties of the shipping domain. A ship is called as a vessel. All right. And then the ports, you call the ports as ports. The place from where the shipping happens is going to be called as ports. And the journey is called as a voyage. So there are a lot of terms there. And what I don't want you to understand is you don't have to go into these different details. Okay. So you don't have to really go into these details. All you want to do is you want to go and have, uh, you know, understand how a logistics works from a high level. Yeah, I'll share this data set one more time. Hold on. I'll just finish this explanation and I'll share it one more time. Okay. So you just have to understand how a simple package that you got and, kind of courier is going to be taken from one place to another. So that's what I'm talking about here. And that's how you want to go and understand that particular scenario. And that becomes easier for you to understand your data. So I'm talking about understanding your data. I'm stressing on this point because this is going to be the crux of what you're going to do next. And this, if it is not clear, if it is not, you know, something that you don't understand your data, then it's going to be very, very difficult. Okay, so let's go and understand it from that perspective. Like I said, I'll just do this as an e-commerce website, and let's go and compare it with that. Okay. Now, when I gave you the example of Amazon, and I want you to look at it from a customer standpoint. Now, as a customer, what you're doing is you're just purchasing a product. Yes. But for a business, for Amazon, it's an order coming in. Yes or no? So you are purchasing it from a customer standpoint, and that's an order coming in. And if you have seen those invoices that you get whenever you get that goods or the products delivered, you'll have an order ID there. Okay. That's going to let you know that this is the order and you can go and track that order, so on and so forth. Okay. So for a business, when you purchase something from an e-commerce website, may it be Amazon or Flipkart or whatever that is that we have in India or anywhere else. So, you will just go and see that it's an order coming in. Correct? So that's what we have. Now, the order should have been placed on a certain date and the shipping should have happened on the certain date, right? So that's just going to be the same way this data is all set up. So there is an order and the order was placed on certain date and the order was shipped on certain date. Now, with respect to Amazon, you have so many different shipping modes available, the delivery modes available. And when you check out, you'll get to see that there is this Prime delivery. If you're a Prime member, you get to have that delivered as soon as possible. You have 1 day delivery, 2 day delivery, so on and so forth. So you're just getting to see those shipping modes details here as well. Okay. So I'm just trying to compare this data set with Amazon data set. It's not an Amazon's data set, but I'm just trying to compare it. And you can see that there are differences in your data and all of that. But this does not stop you from comparing and understanding this data, right? That is what I'm talking about. So go ahead and compare your data set with something that you know. For example, again, if you were to go and load an insurance related data set, you don't have to really know the nitty gritty of your insurance domain. Okay. Go ahead and be a customer of an insurance product and you can very well understand the insurance data again. So if you have just gone out and procured or purchased a product like an insurance plan, you would know what is a premium. You would know what is sum assured and so on and so forth. So that will be the data that you'll have, and associated with that will be a lot of other information like who's the customer, who's the insurer, and all of that. And that becomes a lot of details that you have in your data set. So I'm just trying to I'm just trying to tell you that data is very important. Understanding that is again very important. If you don't understand this, there is no point in taking it forward into the tool, and you will not be able to bring those insights out properly. Okay. So in order to understand how you want to segment it, how you want to slice and dice it, and then bring out those visuals, understanding the data is very important. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Good. Let's go move forward. Now, what you'll see in this data set is the details about the customer, and we have the customer ID and customer name, who purchased what product. That's all here. And then we have our segmentation done. So this is mainly based on the products that we sell. So we'll just go ahead and show, and I'll just go ahead and show you what is that coming in. Okay. So this is our, segmentation by different product. And what we are selling here is more of, consumer, corporate, and home office products that we have. All right. So we're just selling all of that. And these are the different segments in which we are selling the products. And we have some geographical, information here, maybe based on the customer details. This customer is belonging to United States, city, state, postal code, and region, and all of that. And that's all coming together. So this is something that we will use a lot. And you want to just go and slice and dice your data and do all of that. Okay. So this is something that we'll use a lot in our analysis, and we'll just go and see how that works. Okay. I hope you're getting the idea here. You just have to go and understand how this is all set up. Okay. Then we have the product itself that we are selling in our store. Okay. So this is what is our product ID and the product name. So you have different products that we are selling, and we will have broader categories of that. So categories and subcategories. For example, the furnitures category will have chairs, bookcases, tables, and all of that sold. And that's how things are set up. Okay. So you just have to understand it on a high level for now. As we progress and as you get used to this data set, you will be comfortable working with this data. Okay, good. Let's move on and let's go to the next, the right-hand side of it, where you have the important metrics that we'll be using a lot, and that's going to be sales, quantity, discount, and profit. Okay, clear? This is what we have here. All right, great. Now, let's go ahead and define a few things. Okay, even before I jump into the rest of them, or maybe I'll just go through the rest of the sheet and we'll just define some important terms or terminologies. These are going to be the foundational aspects of, working inside Power BI or any data visualization tool for that matter. May it be Tableau, which is going to be another tool that you work on like Power BI. So whenever you work on these tools, we are going to define and look at our data in a certain way. We'll just go ahead and define that. Okay. So before I define that, let me just go quickly into the rest of the sheets and I'll come back. Okay. So if you go to the return sheet, and again, kind of understanding this from Amazon's perspective, what I'm talking about here is we have the orders that are getting returned. Okay. So we have the orders that are getting returned. And this table or this sheet is only listing the orders that got returned. Okay. For example, you have like about 1,000 orders sold today. Just one of them got returned, and this returned product is what is being marked here. You're not going and taking all of these products and listing it again here. No, that's not the way it is all set up. We are just going ahead and listing the products that got returned. Okay. Yes, returns are possible with Amazon. And what happens is you can have returns coming in for an e-commerce business, right? So that's inevitable. You can't really go and say, hey, I'm perfect, and there is not going to be any orders that are going to be returned. That's not going to happen. It can be for various reasons. You may not know why, your product is getting returned. It can be due to some something like, you misplaced a product and someone shift a different product because of a different product. That can happen. Your goods are being damaged on the transit. You can have something like, your, let's say there is a lot of flood or rain, and then there is this product getting damaged because of that, and it's getting returned. So a lot of things can happen. You can't really predict. And this is a business where you'll definitely have returns. And that's what we are capturing it here. Okay. I just want you to look at it from that perspective. So if you just compare Amazon or an e-commerce website, and you can just relate this data, that's going to be very easy. And you should have all the ideas. Now you would know how to go and have, what sorts of insights brought out. You can just go and plan everything out. Okay. Let's go ahead and click on this people table, people sheet here. And I just wanted to show you that this people sheet is nothing but you have some region. This region is already available in the order sheet. If you have not seen that, let me just go back. We have region here. Okay, we have a region column here. And there are like about 4 distinct regions, central, east, south, and west. And then these regions have managers. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to go ahead and showcase here. So there are different regions and there are some managers managing that particular region. That information is contained in this people sheet, and that's what we have. These are the 3 sheets that we'll go and work on. The data is in this fashion in these 3 different sheets, and let's go and load that and work on that. Okay, if you have any questions, please post that in the chat box. You can stop me and ask those questions. Okay, I see a question here. Let me take that up. If some columns are missing, how we are going to understand the data? Well, it depends on this is again talking about the quality of the data, right? So whenever you're working on a database, you'll not have this sort of an issue. But if it is in a file, if you're importing or exporting the details to a file, probably that can happen. So just understand from your data team, if there is anything missing, you may want to go and rectify that. So otherwise, there will not be any issue like that. Okay. So yes, your columns may not be missed until and unless you're generating this on a daily basis. And if there is any issue like that, just go back to your data team, understand why is this happening. You may want to get that fixed. Okay. Yeah. Whatever you have, you can understand things based on that. You don't have to go into the nitty-gritty details. You can have 200 columns in your database, but if you're just trying to bring in like 50 columns, just understand those 50 columns. That's more than enough. You don't have to go into those 200 columns and understand the entire database. Okay. It's like you'll be going in and doing that in a vast ocean. There will be no need for you to go and look into those details. Okay, great. All right. So this is our file. And what I go ahead and do, I'll share this file one more time. Hold on. All right. All right. So let me just share this file one more time on this particular chat box. I see a lot of people have joined. So let me send this one more time. And we'll just go connect to our sample superstores file from Power BI. Okay. I just want you to go ahead and have the file downloaded and kept. Do not do anything with that. Do not open Power BI or work parallelly. You will have or you will miss out a lot of things here. So just observe what's happening. And I want you to understand the flow. That's very important. Just understand the flow, and then you can go ahead and work on this anytime you want. All right. It's going to be very easy, super easy. But if you miss out a few things, I click on a button, like I said, all of a sudden I'll be in a different environment. Okay. And you'll never know how did I reach there. And there will be 10 people asking the same question. So I don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and, kind of understand how we will go ahead and connect to this data set. I want to take a pause here. I want to understand whether there is any questions before I move on. Yes, no, just put that in the chat box. Clear so far? Just let me know. If you have any questions, please feel free to, talk to me. All right. Okay, great. Thank you for the confirmation. Thank you. Let's move on. And like I said, again, just pose those questions. I'll take that up in some time. Okay, great. So now we are in Power BI desktop. And what we want to do is we want to connect to our data. I showed you the data set. Let's go ahead and connect to our data set. And we want to make sure that, we are loading that into Power BI. That's the first thing that you want to go ahead and do. Okay. So if you look at this section here on top, and you'll have an icon called as get data. Okay. Now you can get started since ours is an Excel file, right? So you can get started with this section. This one is Excel file that you can connect to. You can get started from this icon. You can see that there is an Excel workbook connection available on top. You can get started with that icon. Or if you look at this, there is a drop down to your get data icon, right? So I'll just click on that and I'll just go and click on, or you can just get started with this one. There are a lot of options to go and get started with these options here or the connections here. And since this is one of the most widely used data sources, Excel, and also it's Microsoft's own, tool. So you have this particular tool or these details like SQL Server. You have SQL Server here. All of that is Microsoft's products, and they're just trying to promote their products. And that's also one of the most widely used products across the world. So SQL Server or the Excel, everything is used widely across the world. So they are just trying to go and give you a quick way to get to that. Okay. So let's say if you don't have it in the list that you see here, and these lists are just a few of the icons that you don't have too much of things going on here. So if you want to just look at the complete list of data sources that Microsoft Power BI connects to, I'll click on the drop down. Okay, just click on that drop down and let's go to the more option here. All right. Yes, you will be able to connect to a CSV file, a web-based file. We'll go through this. We can go through this if you want. We will go through this one. So all of that we will go through and I'll tell you how to connect to these different data sources. Okay, that's what we have. So let's go ahead and click on more, and that should list all the data sources that you have. And let's see what they are. Okay, I click on more, and then there comes our get data dialog box. This is going to be one of the most important dialog boxes for you. Okay, so you get started with this. If you don't feel that there is a connector with which you can connect your data set, for example, an Oracle data source, the list is not here, the icon is not here. So you'll have to go to get data and you'll find somewhere down below there is an Oracle database. And this is pretty much, set up based on how widely a particular data source is all used. So it's just set up based on that. And you can just kind of traverse through this and understand where is your data source and you can connect to that. Okay. But our connection should be for an Excel workbook. So you see that here, you see that here, you see that here, you saw that in the drop down. So everywhere there is this option available for you to, connect to your Excel workbook. All right. Okay, great. So let's go click on that and I'll go through this particular list just quickly so you can see how long and how vast this list is. This is what you can do. Okay, so you can connect to a variety of different data sources. You have a list of data sources here. That's what you can do. And this is also categorized into different sections like file systems. If you want to go and connect to all the file systems and the databases. So there is the SQL Server. Access database is one of the oldest, and you can call this as a legacy system. A lot of people still use it, and a lot of people still even have their data in that particular access database. So if you really want to connect to that and load it, that would be also possible. And there are also a lot of different databases that this is getting listed here, and you can just see where is your data coming from. If you need anything, if you want to have certain data connections understood, I may or may not have the environment right now, but if you really want it, let me know. And I'll just go ahead and set it up and I'll explain you how to connect to that particular environment. Okay, great. So this is what I want you to understand. You can go click on get data. That will bring up this get data dialog box. And let's go connect to our Excel workbook. Okay. Now our intention is just to load. We'll just go ahead and do this. We'll only load the orders sheet for now. We will talk more about the rest of the sheets or other sheets later point in time. So if I were to just bring this up here one more time, we'll just go ahead and load the order sheet. Okay, this sheet here, and that's what we will go ahead and do. So let's get started with that. Okay. All right. Let's click on Excel workbook. I'll say connect, and we want to go to the data set that I have. Let's go ahead and connect to that. I'll say open. Okay, so just point it to the Excel file. You can traverse through the path. You can just point it to the file and then open the file in Power BI. So when I open this file in Power BI, this is going to be my next step. Okay, so the first step is all about getting to your data. All right, so getting to your data, and that's what we have. Okay, Dataverse is one of the ways of managing and working with data. That's more like Microsoft's ecosystem in which you get to see that. It's more like you have everything inside that one place, and it's more like a place where you dump a lot of data and then you can just go work on that. Okay, so you have a lot of terminologies. Like today we have things like databases. Yeah, you know that it's just a simple database. When you go with a data warehouse, you can go and connect to that. That's going to be much more bigger of a database. Okay, and then we have data lake. Data lake is all about pushing your data, keeping it there, and then start consuming it based on how you need it. Okay, it's going to be having all sorts of tabular format of the data and non-tabular format of the data. You can have, we call that as structured and non-structured data. So similarly, Microsoft has just come up with some, data mart is one of the subsection of your data warehouse. All of that is pretty much possible. So data warehouse is just kind of an ecosystem where, Microsoft is giving you a lot of options, and it's one of the ways in which you can, manage and connect and work with your data. Okay. Yeah, we can go into that later. Let's see. And that's how it's all set up. It's one of the products from Microsoft again. Can you please repeat this step? Yes, let's do that. Let's cancel this out. Let's go ahead and connect to our Excel file again. So let's just go click on Excel workbook. I'll go ahead and point it to the Excel workbook. Okay. I'll just say open. That's it. Okay. So that will open a navigator window. And what this navigator window is going to show is it's going to show you that there is this sample superstore, and this sample superstore has those different sheets that we want to go and probably load into Power BI. Okay. So it is connecting to the file and it is listing all the sheet, and that's what is a navigator window all about. It is going to be helping you to, get into this particular uh, tables or sheets and then load it into Power BI. Okay. All right. Now, let's go and focus on the orders table alone. I'll go into the people and returns in a while. There are going to be some discrepancies with your data with people and returns. So we'll fix that and we'll load that later. But let's go and focus on orders table. So what you can do is you can just click on this orders table, click, and you'll see a preview here. Yes, you see a preview here. I can just scroll towards the right. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a moment, kind of understand whether your data is looking good or not. In this preview itself, you can identify that sometimes there can be some errors coming up. Okay, so it will say error sometimes, and we'll go through those scenarios in some time. Okay, so as we progress, we'll go and work on a lot of transformation techniques. I'll go through those scenarios and we'll just touch base on that one by one. Okay, but let's go and focus on loading the data today from a variety of different data sources, and you'll understand how this is all set up. All right. So this is what we have. We have our orders table. You can just click on that, click on the orders name, and then you'll see a preview of that. Now, I want you to take a moment and go through this, scan through this information, understand if your, headers are all proper, the column headers are all proper, understand if your date is looking like a date, if you have a customer name or order ID, it should look like order ID, okay? You don't want to go and have, I would say, some irregularities here, some sort of discrepancies here. So just make sure that you're just looking at this data, you're scanning through this information and understanding that, yes, these values and these column headers make sense. That's the validation that I want you to do here. Okay. Because when I go through these two tables in some time, you will see that there is going to be some discrepancy, and you want to decide based on what you're looking at, the preview that you're getting, whether you want to take the data forward and load it into Power BI or not. Okay. So that decision you have to make. And for that, looking at the preview and making sure that everything looks good in the preview is very, very important. All right. So again, there are some pauses that you should have. You should have to look at those information and understand if this is all coming out nicely. All right, good. Now, I think it's good. Okay. And this is going to be just a sample data. You'll not have too much of data coming in. Not entire table will be loaded, just a preview of your data. So it's going to be based on some of the details that you have. All right. Okay, so everything looks good. I think I'll just go ahead and move forward. And what you have to do is to tell Power BI that you want to load the orders table. You have to check the box. Okay, check those boxes. You can check multiple boxes, but like I said, there are going to be issues with your people and returns table. We'll get to that in a while, so we'll not load it as of now. Let's go ahead and load only the orders table for now. Okay, so I'll just go check this box here, click, check that box, and we'll just go ahead and load the table into Power BI. So when you load it, you are going to go get that here, and you'll see all the list of columns and other things come up there. Okay, so that's what I have explained already. Let's go ahead and understand how that works. So check these boxes, only then your load and transform buttons will be enabled. Look at this. If you don't have anything enabled or checked, you will not see these buttons enabled. So you can't move forward to the next step. So I would rather say, go ahead and choose the table names. That's what is going to help you in loading or transforming the data. Okay, we'll get to the other things later, but let's go ahead and work on load part. So you're just trying to load the data into Power BI. Okay, that's what we will go ahead and try doing it here. Okay. So like I said, the preview looks good. The data coming in is all looking good. So I check the box and I say load. That's it. Click on that and let's load the data into Power BI. All data types are correct in Power BI preview. It should be correct. I'll tell you how this all works. When we go deep dive into the transformation techniques, and when I go into something called as Power Query Editor, you'll understand all of this. So yes, the data types that is being shown and getting listed is all correct. Okay. And we will understand how that works. Yes. What is the difference between data load and transform the data? Yeah, we are getting to that. Hold on for some time. We are getting to that. I'll just be loading the people and other tables now, and you'll understand what we have to do there. Okay, I have loaded the orders sheet into Power BI. Now this comes and sits as a table. I can expand it, and you see all the columns from your orders table coming in here, right? Now, the way this is all set up is this is all going to be alphabetically set up. So this is all going to be from A through Z, and that's how things are. And this is how things work. Okay, so you have the table and you have the columns coming in, and they will be just sorted in an alphabetical fashion. You don't have to worry about it. The more important point here is the data got loaded. That's one of the biggest concerns for a lot of people. They are not able to go and load the data from variety of different data sources. You just have to understand that your data is here and you can do anything with that. Don't worry about the ordering. Don't worry about the sort options and all of that. Just forget about all that. Make sure your data is getting loaded. The number of rows you have in your table is getting loaded. That's what is the validation that you have to do. Okay, great. So we have our data loaded here. That's what we have. And like I said, we'll talk about the visualizations later. But let's get into these views. Okay, let's get into these views. And we want to go and understand, this is our report view. This is what is the report view. We'll go and understand how a table view and a model view looks like. So let's get into these views and then we will talk about how they are coming up. So let me go into the table view. So we are currently in the report view. If you hover onto these icons, you'll get those tooltips. You'll understand which view currently you are on. So you can click on the table view right now and look at that. The orders table is clicked, that is selected, and you see a preview of your data. Okay. So this is your table view, and you can see pretty much this like an Excel sheet. You have this filters. You can go and kind of, understand if you just want to click on one of the dates, you can see what sort of products were sold, where was it sold, which country, city, state, or other things that you have, and what is the sales amount, blah, blah, blah. So you can just go and take this particular section or this environment to filter out the data, probably do some validations. You want to look into some details and get to understand those details. You can very well do that. So these are the different things that I'm talking about. Okay. So this is what you can do here. And we'll use this particular section effectively when we go through the DAX ways of working. All right. So we'll just go ahead and work on DAX, and this environment will be used effectively during that time. And I'll show you how to work with that. Okay. But yes, feel free to do anything here. It's not pretty much like Excel. Remember, it's not Excel. There's a different tool altogether. So you may not have all the functionalities and features, but whatever you are given, just see if you can just make use of that and you understand what are all the different features that you have. Now, if you want to go ahead and filter this out and you want to apply some filters like, this value is equal to, does not equal to, starts with, blah, 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 you can do all of that. Okay. So pretty much what you can do on a filter on Excel can be done here as well. But yes, just explore this section and you will understand this better. And as we progress, I'll go and touch base on a lot of icons on top, a lot of details on top, and you'll better understand this part. Okay. All right, let's go to the other view. This is called as a model view. And since we have just loaded one table that is coming in like this, it's just a way in which, your details are being shown. So as you load a lot of tables, tables will come like this. All right. And then you'll start connecting these tables together. I'll tell you why to connect them together. We will go and talk about that in probably a third or fourth session, maybe. Okay, that's when I touch base on data modeling. You'll understand why we need to do this and how are you going to make sure you are able to go and use them together in your visualizations. Okay, so that's going to be helpful based on that. That's what we have. Yeah, relational tables. If you're bringing things from your, probably a SQL environment, okay, or maybe a database where you have the primary key, foreign key kind of a relationship. The same thing goes on here. And that's the advantage that you have in this environment. You can relate the tables together, bring the tables together, and based on that, let's say you have two tables, you have connected them. Now, based on these two tables information, you can go ahead and build a view. You can go ahead and create a chart, which is coming from both of these tables. Okay, that's the advantage that you get. And that's why we start building some data model. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk more about it as we progress, but I'll show you as and when, we load the data. I'll show you some of the data may get connected, tables may get connected, and we'll just talk about that in a while. Okay, great. So let's go back to our report view, and we have loaded the orders table. Any questions, anyone? Just so far, any questions to please do let me know. Otherwise, we'll just move forward. Yeah. No questions? Okay, great. Thank you. If you have any, just post that in the chat box, or like I said, uh, you know, please feel free to stop me, unmute yourself and talk to me. Yeah. All right. So now what we will do is we'll just go ahead and yeah, post that in the chat box, or yeah, you can unmute yourself and talk to me if you really want to do that. That's fine. So Kesh. Yeah. Okay. See what's comfortable for you. Just put it in the chat. I'll take it up. Yeah. Okay. Right. Great. So we can't unmute. You have permission. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. If you need me to unmute you, just let me know. I'll just give you the permission. Okay. Yeah. If you want to talk, let's do it that way. All right. Great. Okay. So let's move on. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and load the other two sheets. And what you'll see is you'll see some discrepancies. Okay. Now look at it. You have the orders table. It is exactly set up the way we wanted. This was all neat and clean. It was just loading in properly. But when you go to the returns or the people sheet, there will be some discrepancies when we try loading it. We'll see what that is. Okay. And don't go by these colors, these filters. Don't judge this particular table based on that. This is just for your understanding purpose that I've highlighted it. This is nothing to do with the loading part. If you see the returns, there is also a filter here. It's nothing to do with this particular thing. There is some sort of a highlight here. It's nothing to do with your, details here when we go and load it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just hold on. There is one question coming in. I just want to unmute someone, but give me a minute. Okay, see to Sikesh. Let me just try unmuting you here. Okay, just see. Can you do that and talk to me? Just given you the permission. Okay, just hold on. Let me check with the coordinator here. Okay, just hold on. Uh, just hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, now it is working. Sorry.
Okay, yes, please. Yeah, what's your question? Let me know.
Yeah, see, in storage modes, like there is a important direct query, right?
Yeah,
So in direct query and live connection mode, there is no data tab available on the Power BI desktop.
correct.
So at the time, how I want to know, like how we can perform data transformation, and also we can't in direct query and live connection mode, we can't
Mm-hmm.
able to perform time intelligence DAX function.
Yes, correct.
So at the time, how we can perform like these functions? And there is, I heard that there is option called aerial function. With that, we can able to do time intelligence DAX function.
Yeah, so I'll
So,
give you this answer, but we are still a long way to go for that. But I'll give you the answer for you. So whenever you're connecting to a live connection or through a direct query, this icon will go off. Okay, this icon will not be there. The table view will not be there. Okay, remember and understand this part. Why is Power BI doing this? Power BI is doing this because you are on a live connection. You are connecting to your data set live. We'll go through that when we go through, this section here. I'll just tell you how this works. Okay. But understand this part from the tools perspective. You're connecting, let's say this is your table or database, and you're connecting to this using Power BI live. Okay. When I say live, it means You have some set of records here. Let's say you have 100 records here, and you'll be able to see all of those 100 records here as well. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Now, if there is a deletion, the deletion is immediately happening here as well. This also gets deleted. If there is an addition, this gets added here as well. So whatever change happens on your database is going to happen in your Power BI file as well. Now, there is also a limitation. You can't go beyond 1 million records when you're looking up the data. So what Power BI does is it goes and removes this view, the table view, and that's a way this tool works. You don't have to go do anything apart from that. Okay, so there is no other go. You have to work based on that. You may not have the table view, but you can always go to a different window. I'll just show you. You can always go to Power Query Editor. You can do a lot of things there. That's what you can go and look for. Okay, just go and look for those different details there. That's one thing that I want you to go and you know details here. Okay, one. And the second half of your question is, whenever you work on DAX, you're not able to perform certain operations, right? So if you go
Yes.
to, let's go to I'll just go to DAX documentation for Power BI. Okay, let's go to this documentation page. And for others, just don't mind. Okay, I'm just going to go answer this question. And I know that it's a way long journey for us to get to that. But let me just answer this. So let me just take one of the functions here. Let's go with a format function. There is a function called as format function. What I want you to do is I want you to thoroughly go through the documentation page. Okay. Now, when you go through the documentation page, you will see some sections like remarks. And if I come down, look at this section here, this one, this point here. What is it telling you? This function is not supported for use in direct query. So there will be certain functions that you cannot use in direct query. And I would say that's how the functions are all set up. So if you can't use this, you have to find an alternative. There is no other solution. Okay. So you may be struggling with that function or formula that is pretty much understood. But what I'm saying here is, yes, there are certain functions that won't work in direct query mode, and you have to go and kind of, understand what are the alternatives to that. Okay. So yeah, we'll talk more about it when I get into the DAX ways of working. We don't want to go jump like 100 steps ahead from what we are doing right now. So I would say let's just have some patience. If you're enrolling for this course, I'll give you all those answers in the others upcoming sessions that you're doing. So let's do that way. Okay. But the answer to your question is yes, you'll have the data view or table view disabled or gone when you do a direct query. So you have to use your Power Query Editor to do a lot of things. Just make sure you do that way. And in this case, you may want to use direct query. And when you're doing that, a lot of functions may not be supported. And that's pretty much by the design. That's how Power BI works. You can't complain about it. You just have to go and make sure that you are using some alternatives to that. Okay, so I hope I'm making myself clear. We'll talk more about it in some time. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll just reserve this for some other, at the end of the session conversation. All right. Okay.
Yeah, actually, and there is in that Korean live connection mode, we can't
Mhm.
able to find out historical data.
Correct. I understood. I mean, see, I'm not talking about you talked about time intelligence function. I'm just giving you another example where you can see. So go through the documentation and see if you can find some alternatives there. Okay. So go through that, or there are also a lot of help forums, community forums available. Just post your question there and they'll give you the answer. Okay. Or we will discuss this post the session. Let's do that way. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, let's move on. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to connect to those two sheets again, people and returns sheet, and let's see what is the challenge or problem that's going to come up. Okay. So I'll click on get data. I'll click on Excel workbook again. Let's connect to the same Excel workbook. I'll click on sample superstore. That's where our data is coming from. I'll say open. And then let's go click on people table. Okay. Clicking that should enable the preview for me. So I want you to just type in, or I want you to just tell me what is the discrepancy that you see here. So I click on people table. I'll just zoom in a little bit. What is the discrepancy do you see here? What is wrong with this preview? Anyone? Title is missing. Okay, column headers are missing. Yes, everyone agrees, correct? So that's the issue that we have. Now let's take a step back and let's go and understand why this is happening. Yeah, column headers are not proper. Very good. So let's go back to the orders table. And what do you think is different in the orders table that the headers are all proper, but the people table is not having the headers properly set? What do you think? I'm just going to show you these two tables, back and forth. So you have this in the people table, you have region, managers, the list of that. This should be your header, but this is not treated as your header, and that's a problem. We can't take this forward just like that. So I can't go and load the table just like that. I'll go back to the orders table. What is different here? Why are the headers just nice and neat in this particular section? What do you think is happening here? Anyone? Any guesses? I just want you to guess. It can be right, wrong. It can be silly thing that you say. That's fine. I don't, really go and take that seriously. Just let me know. Why do you think the headers are not proper here? If I go to the returns table, see the same case. You don't have the headers properly set. This should have been the header and it's not set properly. So why do you think is this happening this way? Row number. Very good. Very good. Bang on target. Okay, but I'll put it in a different way. All right. So good that you have guessed it and you have guessed it correctly. There is a something called as a row number here, but we'll understand it in this fashion. Okay, just pay attention here. This is very important again. If you're having some trouble with your data set, you want to go and fix that first and then load it into Power BI. Okay, so what you have in your orders table here is, let's suppose, this row is your first row. It's not your column header as of now. It's not a column header as of now. Let's say that's our first row. Okay, now, what Power BI is going to do is it's going to read all your information. It is going to scan through all the columns and understand whether it can promote this row to the column header or not. All right. That's the whole idea and whole thing that goes behind the scene here. Okay. And we'll talk more about it as we progress. I'll show you how that works. Okay. So we have a row. Let's say this is our first row and it is just like people table. Okay. So you have that headers, column headers, all in the first row for orders table as well. And that's what I'm referring to. So let's go and understand it from that perspective. Now look at the entire row here. Row ID, order date. How is this? It's all of text nature. Yes or no? It's all of text nature. And these are all text that is coming in. Yes or no? Correct? Now let's keep it. And like I said, this is our first row. Okay, let's say this is still a first row. Now, what Power BI will do is it starts reading the information, and what it sees in a lot of different rows or columns here is the first row is all text, correct? It's all text here. It is all text. But here and there, you will see that the rest of the rows in the row ID column is of a different data type. This is all number, or I can say it's all integer data type. Yes, that is something that we can do. Order date, look at that. The first row is text, but the rest of the rows are of a different data type, which is date data type. So this information is giving the tool a clue that yes, it can go and promote the first row to the header, and that is how it has done this in orders table. All right. But if you look at the people table, if you go to the people table, what happens here is the first row is all text. Yes. The rest of the values on the columns, respective columns, is also text. Now the tool is confused. The tool does not understand whether it can promote the first row to the header or not. Is it the right thing to do or not? That's what it is all confused about. Okay. So the tool does not want to make a mistake, and it is telling you that, hey, if you feel that this is not the first row and you need to go and promote this, you want to take the measures and not the tool. Okay, it's just not doing something wrong. It is not trying to give you something wrong here. All it does is it just wants you to take that one extra step. It's a simple step, one extra step to go and fix this issue right away. Is that making sense? Yes, everyone. So what you have is the entire table is made of text on a column basis and on a row basis. Everything is all text. So that is why this issue is coming up, and Power BI does not want to give you any wrong information. It is not promoting this to the header. Same is the case with returns. Just don't go and judge these values by the numbers. When you have alphabets and numbers coming in, that becomes a text. It becomes a alpha numerical value. Okay, is all text, and hence these are all text. This is text. The header is text, so there is no issues. I mean, no way it can go and identify how this works, and that is why this is all happening this way. I hope this is all clear. Yes. So there are going to be some discrepancies coming up when you go and try loading the data. And what I want you to do is look at the preview. You don't want to just like that in a hurry take that particular table forward. You may want to question or understand why is this happening and how do you go and fix that. Okay, I hope you're all getting that idea. Yes, good. Now let's see how to fix this. All right. And like I said, you can check these boxes. You can check any number of boxes. So we'll take people and returns forward, but we want to fix this header issue and then we will load this table into Power BI. Okay. Now tell me, and there was a question, why do we have load? Why do we have transform? Now tell me, because of this discrepancy, should I go and load the table just like that? Should I go and load the table? Yes or no? Everyone? No, right? So we can't go and load the table and we can't take it forward. So in this case, what should I do? I should go and transform my data and then load my data. Got it? Very good. Yes, that's what I want you to understand. This is why we have a transform data option. And now we will go into the transform data option and let's see what comes up. Okay. Now have a look. All of a sudden, everything is going to change. The window that we are working on will go and change. And I want you to pay attention to the details. So I click on transform data because we can't load it. We want to fix this issue. And that's going to happen only when you transform data. Okay. I click on this and let's open this Power Query Editor. And this gets opened. Okay. So when you are clicking on transform data, it is going to take you to the window called as Power Query Editor. And this is where all the transformation happens. Okay. So this is a separate window. So if you see, we were working on that main window. And from that, we were trying to go and load the data and it has some discrepancies. So we just said, let's go and transform the data. And that took us to this window. So any transformation is going to happen in this window. All right. So for any changes, let's say you want to go and get rid of some of the top rows, you want to go and delete them, you have to be here. Any transformation, addition, deletion, removal of some columns, rows, all of that should be done from this window. Okay. So that's called as a Power Query window. And this is what we have. Let's go and expand this and see how to fix this issue. Okay. Again, the issue is not going to be on the orders table. It's all good. It's going to be on the people table. The column headers are not proper. It's going to be on the returns table. The column headers are not proper. The fix is all the same. Let me show you how to do this. Okay. So what I'll do is, if you are in one of these queries, all right, you will see that there is this option here on top. What is it? It says use first row as headers. Yes. So this first row should be promoted to the header. And that's the option that you see here. And that is what we have. Yes, clear, everyone? Yeah. So that's what we have. So we want to go and just click on that option, click on that icon, and that is going to promote your first row to the headers. Got it? That's what we do. So let's just click on it. Just be anywhere in the table. You can just click anywhere in the table. You can select a column or you can do anything within the table. Just click on that. And let's go ahead and click on use first row as header. That's going to be promoting the first row to the headers. I click on that and look at the magic that goes on here. It just goes and takes the first row into the header. Our headers are now fixed. Can we load the data? Yes, we can go and take this data forward and we can load the data. Okay. But we'll do the same thing for people table as well. So like I said, if I just click on this, it's going to take the first row to the headers. I'll show you the same option one more place in one more place. Okay. So what you can do is, do you see this intersection of rows and columns? There is a small icon there. Yeah. I'll click on that icon, and what you'll get is you'll get the same option in the second option as a second option. Just click on that, and that is how we want to go ahead and do this. Okay. So click on that and you can use the same option. It's the same option from the top. So click on that and that promotes your first row to the headers. Okay. All right. Good. We have that. And what you do is after this, you can go ahead and close and apply and come out of this window. Okay. So this is very important. Once you're done with the changes, you don't want to be here. This is just a transformation phase. You have transformed your data. And what you want to do is come out of this. So close this window, apply all the changes that you have done, and then come out of this window to the main window. And this is also going to help you to load the data. Okay. That is what we have. So I'll click on this. Let's see what happens. Close and apply. Click on the icon. It just loads all the tables together, and that will load those tables into the Power BI file. Okay, great. Let me just take up some questions. I see hand raises. Yes, I'm going to be coming to you. Um, what happens if we click remove rows option? Yeah, that's one of the transformation. Let me just show you that. So I click here. Remove rows in the sense, let's just do this. You have different ways in which you can remove the rows. So you can remove the top rows, which means I can just go and get rid of like first 10 rows or something like that. Remove bottom rows will be deleting things from the very bottom of this table. Alternate rows would be, you can just go and get rid of those alternate rows that way. So that's going to be the different transformations that you apply. Okay, let me just show you one of them. I click on remove rows. You apply top rows, and it's going to ask you how many rows to remove from top. Okay. So let's go ahead and say 10 rows from the top, and look at that. We have the row numbers coming in, right? Just look at that. So if I just say okay here, the first 10 rows are removed and you'll just get the data from the 11th row onwards. That's how we have to use it. We will go through all of these different things one by one when we go through, I would say third or fourth session where I go and talk about the transformation techniques. So we'll just touch base on that and we'll understand how that works. Okay. But those are all the transformations that you have, and you can go ahead and very well, work on that to fix some issues in your data, transform your data, shape your data, cleanse your data. That's the environment that you want to go to for fixing all that issue. Yeah, I see some hand raise. I think it's just because of the question. If I want to promote only one column as header, meaning what? You just want to fix the issue on only one column. You don't want to promote it to other columns. I mean, rest of the columns, you don't want to do that. You can do it in a different way. You don't have to really promote it to, header in that fashion. See, the way things work inside Power BI. Okay, let me just go back and let's just go to that one step where we had this, column headers issue, right? So when you promote the first row to the header, the question you have is only the region should be promoted and you don't want to promote the managers, right? That's what your question is. Yes. So if that's the case, see the way a transformation works here is it's a pre-built transformation for us, right? So tell me this, are we writing any line of code in Power BI? Have we written any line of code so far? We have been just using and working with the interface here. So we are not writing any line of code. This is not our product. This is not our design. We are not building this product. So what I'm trying to tell you here is if you have an option to promote a row to the header, you know, you cannot go and do that. Yes, you can do something with M language, but what I'm saying is the simplest way would be to first of all go and delete the first row. Let's get rid of the first row and you can rename your column the way you want it. If you want this column to be renamed as region and you don't want this column to be renamed as manager, that's fine. It's up to you. But you can go and delete this first row, rename your columns. That would be the easier way. Now, I'm against M query. You're giving me an option for M query. Yes, you can do that, but we will not be using M query a lot. Okay. So there are two things. And we'll get to this, everyone else. I mean, see, people are just jumping like 10 steps ahead of this. I just want you to ask questions in what we are covering. Uh, anything beyond that, people may not understand it here. But let's do this, okay? So let's say whatever you do, and these small details that you see on top, that's called as an M query. Okay, I'm going to call this as M query. And there is also something called as DAX. All right. Now, these are two querying languages. You can go ahead and write these queries, and you can go ahead and shape your data. You can go ahead and make things out of your data, and then go ahead and load it and move it forward. So this query that you're seeing on top is the M query. Now, this has a learning curve. This has a steep learning curve. Okay. And we want to also learn DAX. This again has a steep learning curve. Okay. Even steeper than your M query, I would say. Okay. M query is even difficult than DAX. That's fine. But I just want to tell you that there are two different languages that you are going to work with in Power BI. Now, the idea here is you don't have to really learn M query. That's what I say. And small things like this, yes, you can explore and you can work it out, but you don't have to learn M query because that will be, doubling your, I would say, learning process and also taking a lot of time to learn Power BI. DAX is very important. DAX is what is going to get the most out of your data. So what I would say is go and learn DAX, and we'll do that in our course here, but we will not learn mQuery. mQuery, see, I have been working with Power BI for more than 9 years now, 8, 9 years now, and I have never used mQuery. There is no need for you to go and build anything out of mQuery. mQuery is going to be written automatically whenever you apply those transformations. Okay. So you don't have to do anything here. And if you're really looking for those options, like, how to do all of this, yes, we can explore and we can talk about it later. We'll just take it offline, but I would say simplest way is to go ahead and remove this row and rename your column. That should go ahead and do things automatically on your M query, and that's more than enough. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you here is do not learn or do not work on M query. Learn DAX. DAX is what is going to help you get the most out of your data, and you'll understand that sometime later, but that's how I want you to focus on this. Okay. So I have never used mQuery in my career. I've not gone into that so much. I have written some, but you don't really need them. Okay. Until and unless it's really necessary, until and unless you want to bring it from this environment to the next environment, you don't really want to work on an mQuery. Okay. That would be my take. You can do this using mQuery. Yes. How, we will take that later, or we'll just discuss that later. But as of now, let's just keep mQuery out of the equation. Okay. And the learning process. That's what I would say. All right. Yeah. Any questions, anyone? All right. I'll close and apply. I'll come out of that window, and this is what we have. Okay. Let's go through the people and the return sheet. Let's go through the table, people table. Okay. I did not fix this column. Again, I deleted that. Okay. Let's say, for example, you have loaded the table, and by mistake, you did not really consider transforming the data, and you have just loaded the data, and your column headers are still like that. Now, what will you do? You can go back to your report view. You can click on this one, this button on top. It was transform data button that we clicked on when we wanted to go into the transformation phase. When we went into the Power Query editor, that was transform data. So you have the same icon on top. So click on that and you will be taken to Power Query editor again. Okay. And now we can go ahead and fix this issue again. Click on the icons, go ahead and select that option, close and apply, make all the changes, and that's it. We are done. Okay. Got it? This is how you should be working on it. So there are two ways you can go do this. You're connecting to a data source and you see that everything is looking good. You can go ahead and load the data into Power BI. Okay. Now what you do is you are looking at the data source, you're bringing the data. There are some discrepancies here. Now you don't want to load the data directly. You want to transform the data and then load the data into Power BI. Okay. I hope you're getting my point. This is how you may want to go ahead and follow some techniques here. Now, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I have talked about the ETL process. If you remember, let me bring up that slide. Let me just do that very quickly. Give me 1 second. So do you remember the slide that I showed you in the first session? Yes. What did I tell you is here? It's an ETL process that goes on. Yes or no? Extract, transform, and load, right? So this is what we are doing. If you're not aware of this, let's go back and understand what we are trying to do. Okay. So this is what we are doing. When we were trying to go get to our data, what is that process? That's an extraction process. Yes. Clear? So we'll just go get to the data. Just hold on. Let's see. Excel workbook. I'll just do this one more time. We are getting to our data. That's our extraction process going on. We'll say open. Yes. And now what you can do is from this point onwards, you can decide whether you can load the data or transform the data. Correct? So let's just take the example of the people here. I'll just go check that box. I'm just going to go into the transform data button. Okay. I'm not going to load it, but let's just go understand a few things. Okay. So now we were in the process of extracting the data, right? We have now understood that there is some discrepancy with the data. So we have gone into a different phase altogether called as transformation phase. That's our transformation environment. Okay. We will do a lot of transformation. You can see those icons here. We'll do a lot of transformation based on that. That's what this environment is all about. Power Query is all about transforming your data, shaping your data, cleansing your data. That's what we do in this transformation window. And after that, what we have done, once we have changed everything, we have loaded the data into Power BI. Is it not the ETL process that we are following here? Yes. So we have our data set. We we said that, whenever you work with data, we discuss that it is going to be an ETL process that is going to be in place for sure, right? This is what is happening. We are trying to go and extract the data from wherever data source is, and then we want to transform our data if there is actually some sort of an issue with your data, and then we want to go and load the data into Power BI. Now you can very well skip this part. You can directly go from, you know, extraction to loading. You can directly skip this transformation part because that's just an optional step. If you really have the data that contains some discrepancies, you can go with the transformation step. Otherwise, you can jump directly to the loading part, and that's completely fine. Okay, you're getting my point? Is it the clean the data? Yeah, I mean, this process is to clean the data. What have you done with your headers? You have fixed those headers. So it means, yes, after this fix, it's a clean data, correct? So yes, it's more like cleansing your data. You're just trying to get the data right and then load it into Power BI. Okay. So any issues that you fix is more or less like, fixing and kind of, I would say, cleansing your data, right? You're just cleaning your data, you're just then going and taking it form, right? I hope you're getting my point. So we're just going through the ETL process here, and that's how things work. All right. Okay. Any questions here? I think I'll stop it here. We'll just go and discuss if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up. Any questions, anyone? I hope you're understanding the flow. We talked about a few things, the basic stuff in the first session. If you have not gone through our first session, you can go through that, in the, just give me 1 minute. Let me just come out of this window. Okay. I'll just close and apply. I'll just come out of it. So you can go through the YouTube channel. We have just uploaded our first session's video here. Okay. Just go to Raj Informatica. You can go and look at the first session video here. I'll just give you the link. Let me just do that. You can just go and view that. All right. So try going through the first session and you'll understand this better. We will also upload the second session onto the YouTube channel here. Go and look at this, do a recap of whatever we have covered so far, and you should be able to understand this better. Yes. And yeah, if you have any questions, please do let me know. Otherwise, okay. Any questions? No doubts. Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right, give me a minute. There are some questions. Let me just take it up. Just 1 minute, guys. Okay. All right, who can learn this course? Yeah, we have all these details in our website. So I would like you to go back to this one. Let's just go to Raj Informatica / Power BI training. I'll just give you this link. Okay, go through this link. We have a lot of details here. So you will understand, you will have all the different details about the course and what we are going to cover. Okay, so we are going to cover Power BI Desktop. Okay, that has Power Query Editor. We just got introduced to that. We'll learn about DAX. The Power BI service is going to be the place where we will go and publish our report and deploy our report. That's what is going to be done. And there are also going to be some concepts like data gateways that we'll cover in Power BI service, excellence integration. We are just doing that, Oracle and Fabric, all of these different things. We'll just go and cover that. And there are also some, features that you can go through that. That's just a generic features, but you'll have more than 30 plus interactive session. I'll be going in and delivering a lecture and you'll understand how to work with the tools. There's going to be an extensive knowledge that I'm going to share, and it's going to be 1.5 hours daily, except weekends. We don't really work on that, or during the holidays. And then we will have some separate live and doubt clearing sessions. We'll just go and set it up, something like that. So go through these details. Now, who can learn this session? You can go and learn. I mean, if you are a data analyst or if you want to become a business analyst, you can go and learn this particular tool. Okay. It's just not for that. And I've already told you this in the other forums as well. So you can go and kind of learn this if you are trying to switch to an IT company, and this is how it's going to be. So that's what I have. So you can just kind of, talk to us, and we can also let us know, you know, if you have any queries, just reach out to us through the numbers on the screen here. You can very well do that, and you can just understand. If you want to talk to me directly, yes, reach out to me. I'll just help you out with those questions and other things. Okay. Is this a daily session? No, this is going to be sessions on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We just have 3 days allocated for this batch. We'll see if there is a lot of requests. We'll try to go and accommodate, things daily. But just let us know your wish, and based on that, we'll just accordingly make sure we take those things into consideration. Okay. When is our next session? It's going to be on Wednesday. It's the same time, 8 a.m. morning, and that's how we have it. Okay, that's also going to be a free session. I would like you to go and attend that session. You'll get to know how we are connecting to our different data sets or data sources, and you'll understand that better. And slowly we'll progress. Okay, all of these sessions, we had things on Friday, Monday, today, and Wednesdays. It's just going to be a continuity. So I'm just going deep dive into the products and the tool here, so you'll understand things better. And if you feel that the training is all good enough and you want to enroll for that. If you have any questions, please do reach out to these numbers on the screen, and then ask for me for any other clarifications, and I'll be able to help you out with that. Okay. uh, can a non-IT person switch to IT learning this tool? Yes, you can definitely do that. That's what I mentioned. Anyone trying to switch their career can very well go and do that. Can the career gap, education gap, people learn this tool? Yes, you can pretty much do that. I've gone ahead and trained a lot of people. Let's say there is a person taking leaves due to some medical issues, or there are possible candidates, like usually you will have some delivery time, or maybe this the pregnancy time, during which you'll not be able to go and work on your career, or maybe a gap due to that. I've seen a lot of people, and I've also trained a lot of people who have gone ahead and took this course, and they have gone ahead and had jobs in their later point in their time. So that's what I'm talking about. So you can, yes, definitely go and have that. The gap doesn't matter. You can just go and learn this technology, and you're getting into this technology. Okay, we'll talk a lot more other things around this offline, because I can't go and give you all the answers online. So we'll just do that there. Can freshers learn this course? It would be great if you can learn this. Okay. So I would say, for a fresher getting into this BI role or a data analyst role, you have a great and a bright future. There is a huge demand for data analysts today. And if you just go through this course, if you have just the mastery over Power BI and SQL, that's more than enough. And you can go ahead and learn a lot of things and move forward. And there is going to be a lot of easy career growth options. You can just take it forward with some 2 to 3 years of experience in your belt. I would say you'll have amazing package. That's what we have. Okay. Can I pass PL 300 exam after this course? Yes, this course is all aligned with that particular PL 300 certifications in mind. Once you're done with this, I would say don't immediately take it. I want you to go and practice something more. I mean, just take at least 1 or 2 weeks. You want to go and get involved thoroughly into this particular tool. And then probably within a month or so, yes, you can take that and you can clear it. Okay. I want you to be kind of working on this particular tool for at least a month before you go and take PL 300 exam. All right. So that's something that I would say. The answer is yes, you can take that particular certification and you'll definitely, be able to clear it once you go through this course. What tools we need to install for this course? Okay, the only tool that I want you to do is go to Microsoft Store in your machine and install Power BI Desktop. Okay, look for Power BI Desktop, go and install Power BI Desktop. I don't want you to go through or use any other tool. Okay, just install Power BI Desktop. You'll see that like this app here. Okay, get it installed. That's more than enough. Do not install Report Builder. This is not required. We are not going to cover this report builder. That's a separate tool altogether. That's a separate learning curve altogether. We'll not go and learn about report builder. We will learn only about Power BI Desktop. Okay. So through your Microsoft Store, go and search for Power BI Desktop and get this installed. Okay. I have one doubt. I have already learned SAP, BODS, okay, and Informatica Power Center. Is it useful for Power BI? So what you have is you have a good, nice knowledge on, the ETL framework, right? And also the ETL concept. So yes, this is going to be a very good tool and it's going to be an added advantage for you. All right. Now you can choose your career path the way you want it. You can get into your Informatica line or you can go into the Power BI desktop. And if you understand SQL a little bit, uh, Power BI plus SQL is itself good enough combination to go and take you a long way. All right. That's what I'm talking about. So yes, it's a good tool. It's a good add-on. You will learn a lot. And with your ETL knowledge and ETL foundation, I would say you will be able to grasp everything easily in this particular course. And that's how advantageous it can be. Okay. So yes, I would say I would recommend you to go forward with this and, take this course. It's going to be super useful for you. And like I said, you can channelize your career the way you want it. If you want to get into the, see, this is an easy life. Okay, Power BI desktop plus SQL is going to be an easy life when compared to your Informatica and other ETL tools that you work on. Okay, so I would say this is an easy tool to learn. I would say just go and learn it and keep it as a feather in your cap. And if your career permits and you want to take a direction into Power BI desktop or Power BI ways of working, you can very well go and do that. Okay. Uh, yeah. What DBs will we use in our course? We will just go and connect to SQL Server. If you want, we can connect to a cloud-based environment, which is going to be a Snowflake. These are the connections that I'll show you, but we'll predominantly work on a lot of files, a lot of sample data. That is what I'll go and load. But yes, we'll connect to SQL Server, and that's going to be the database. We can also connect to the Snowflake schema. I'll go and help you out with all those setups and other things later point in time. Okay. All right. Any other questions, anyone? I think I've covered all the questions here. Any questions that you want to go through? Just like I mentioned, go ahead and, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are posting these videos on a daily basis. The first few videos will be available on the YouTube channel. So subscribe to that so that you understand whenever there is a video, you'll get a notification for that. Okay. So yeah, try doing it and go through the first session. If you have not gone through it, we'll upload the second session as well onto the channel here and let's see how that goes. Okay. Any questions otherwise? Anyone? All right. If not, I think we are good. Thank you for your time and your patience. We'll connect back on Wednesday again, and then we'll go through the next set of, topics, and we'll just have a continuity here. Okay. And you should be able to judge how this class is going on. And based on that, if you have not decided yet in enrolling for this particular course, I would say that should be good enough. You should understand how we are progressing and how you want to go and take up this course. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I see no other questions. I think we can wrap up and have a good day. Have a good night. We'll connect back on Wednesday. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you.